I was going to say they didn't get anything out of it, but.
And there it is, Mia Davis.
I can do that.
Nice shot. OAP is back and it starts right now.
Hello, Owl fans, and welcome into a brand new edition of OwlAccess Pass. I'm Lindsey Moppert. A historic week for the women's basketball program, but first, let's get things started with the men's team that just played in 2 close games in 2 different parts of the country, just 2 days apart, with 2 different outcomes. Temple faced Tulsa in what quickly became a tight matchup this past Saturday afternoon at the Lacrosse Center. The first half was mainly dominated by the Owls with a double-digit lead, but soon into the second, Tulsa stole the lead a few times before Temple was able to go on a late run to put this one away. Nick Jourdain posted his first career double-double, and Jaleel White dished a career-high 9 assists in leading Temple to a 67-58 win over Tulsa. And now for Monday night's matchup. It was yet another close one for the Owls as they faced the USF Bulls on just 1 day of rest. Temple struggled offensively, turning the ball over 6 times in the first 9 minutes of play. With 20 seconds on the clock, South Florida's Javon Green hit a 3 to steal the lead. The game came down to the last few seconds here. Damian Dunn, playing on a bad leg, was called for an offensive foul with 7 seconds left. And with that, USF steals the win with a final score of 52-49 Bulls.
Those guys are a really good defensive team. They've always been a good defensive team, and, you know, they make you work. And I just didn't think we attacked them as much as we should have. I just didn't think we got to the offensive glass as much as we should have, or what we've been doing in the past to give ourselves second chance opportunity. It's just, you know, it's that time of year, and guys are just dropping. You know, dropping like flies, but, you know, everybody's dealing with it. Everybody's dealing with it. So, you know, the next man's got to be ready to go.
And now we turn to look at the women's basketball team that just won its 2nd consecutive game against the East Carolina Pirates on Sunday afternoon. It was truly a back-and-forth battle from the start, as these 2 teams were never separated by more than 2 points throughout the first 5 minutes of the quarter. Into the second, the Owls got off to a hot start with a 17-4 run where they were able to pull ahead by double digits. The Pirates attempted to make a comeback in the 3rd and 4th quarters when ECU's Thompson scored 13 points to cut Temple's lead to just 1. But thanks to a missed free throw in the final seconds and a combined 51 points from Temple's Davis Wood and Jourdain, who also had a triple-double, the Owls hold on 60-59.
I think they know that if we execute the game plan and we're all in it, that we definitely could beat anybody in this league. But that's with anyone. Naya had a triple-double, and she's a freshman with a triple-double. I think we need to make sure that that's our headline.
So I always look for my teammates first. Sometimes my coaches say I should look for my offense more, but it's just for me, just look for my teammates first. I like to see them do good.
And now the segment I've been waiting for. It's time to mop it up. Given the fact that women's basketball star Mia Davis has officially broken the program's all-time scoring record this past week, it feels only right to highlight her success in today's segment. This past Wednesday, on the 50th anniversary of Title IX and National Girls and Women in Sports Day, Mia Davis scored 18 points and finally surpassed Marilyn Stevens as the program's all-time leading scorer. Stevens previously held the 38-year-old record with 2,194 points. And with 7 more regular season games left, Davis is bound to shatter this record as she averages 19 points per game. I've had the honor of covering Mia's basketball career for the past 4 years, and I can honestly say not only is she this historic, record-breaking program leader, but she's also an extremely humble person and consistent player. And not to mention, she did say that I have a nice shot, so obviously she knows talent when she sees it. The men's and women's teams will be back in action later this week. The women will take on the USF Bulls in a home game on Wednesday night at 7 p.m. And the men's team will face the Tulane Green Wave in New Orleans on Saturday afternoon at 2 o'clock. Both games will be aired on ESPN+. And now it's time to take a closer look at my pick of the hottest squad on campus right now. And if you remember from last week, I chose the Lacrosse team. Right now, these Owls are ranked 22nd according to the IWLCA and the Inside Lacrosse poll. Belle Mastro Pietro, Mackenzie Roth, and Katie Shallow have all been named to the preseason all-conference team. And speaking of Mastro Pietro, she was even voted as the preseason midfielder of the year. And talk about coming off a hot streak, last year's team won its first NCAA tournament game since 1998. Now, let's take a look at the Owls' first 6 games of their season. Temple's first 2 will take place at Howarth Field this upcoming weekend and the following week. The Owls will face Army and Villanova. Temple will then take a quick drive down the road to face the Hawks of St. Joe's, and then the next 3 will all require a bit of a longer road trip as the Owls face Princeton, Kennesaw State, and UMBC all coming up in the next month. Over the weekend, the Temple women's track and field team competed in a 2-day meet in New York as part of the Columbia Challenge. And junior Tanaki Strachan quickly stole the spotlight after breaking the school record for the triple jump with a mark of 12.93 meters. Strachan shattered the previous record by over 2 whole feet. Now looking to the courts, the women's tennis team swept St. Francis 7-0 in its first home match of the year. The Owls dominated in both doubles and singles play with this win, and the women's squad now sits at 1-1 on the season. And now for the men's team. The Owls lost their first doubles match of the day, but managed to win every singles matchup in 2 sets. The men's team also came out on top with a 6-1 victory, their first of the year. In the first day of a 2-day meet at Northwestern, the 9th-ranked Temple fencing squad went 5-2, and its only losses of the day were to Ohio State and Notre Dame. And now looking to day 2, Temple finished 4-1, toppling nationally ranked Northwestern 14-3 in the second round. This marked as the Owls' 7th win over a ranked team so far this season. And don't worry, there is plenty of game action to look out for the rest of this week. On Wednesday night, the women's basketball team will take on South Florida in McGonigal Hall. Women's track and field will travel on Friday to compete in a weekend meet against Boston College. And Saturday is jam-packed with action from the lacrosse team, the men's and women's basketball teams, and the gymnastics squad. The weekend will finish off with the fencing team in North Carolina. There are so many events, and that's why we have so many shows. It's Owl Sports Update Productions all week long. The Monday Sports Brief, I'm here on Tuesday. Wednesday, we've got our new podcast, Owl Sports Update Off Air with Jay Rosen. We are live at noon on Thursday with our signature show, Owl Sports Update. Luke Mealy and Josh Safran have the desk this week. And then on Friday, Courts in Session with Sage Hurley and Ray Dunn. And speaking of Ray Dunn, be sure to stay tuned this week for a special episode of Courts in Session where Ray will take you 7 hours south to tell the story of the connection between Temple guard Damian Dunn and his hometown of Kinston, North Carolina. That episode airs on social media Friday at noon. That just about does it for this episode of OwlAccess Pass. And until next Tuesday, same time, same place, your access is up. For the entire crew, I'm Lindsey Moppert. Have a lovely week, everyone.